What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about probably another one of the most anticipated albums of the entire year of 2025, even now, because this is the first album from this band in about 6 years. I am talking about the latest offering from Killswitch Engage, This Consequence. This comes out on February 21st on Metal Blade Records. And yeah, so Killswitch Engage, long time no see. I think I did talk about their last album, Atonement, when it came out in 2019, and I thought it was a decent, good album. Obviously, a lot has happened since then for the band, and well, here we are with a new album 6 years later. Of course, the lineup remains the same. Jesse, Joel, Mike, Adam, and I forget. Hold on. Jesse, Joel, Justin, Mike, and Adam. There we go. So yeah, pretty much the Fantastic Five are still together on this album, which thankfully that is the case. So yeah, I was definitely anticipating this, like curious about it, considering, I hadn't thought about Killswitch Engage in quite some time, because like I said, it'd been 6 years since we've had anything new. And this is only their second album on Metal Blade as well. They moved to Metal Blade on Atonement, and they're still on Metal Blade. Thank God they decided to go to Metal Blade and not stick with Roadrunner. In fact, the sooner Trivium and Gojira leave Roadrunner, the better off they'll be, because Roadrunner, I think, is on the verge of death. But I digress. So, has anything changed sonically? Has anything changed musically for Killswitch Engage? Well, let's find out. So we kick things off with Abandon Us, and immediately classic Killswitch Engage riffs, grooves, the melodies are there. I mean, of course, Killswitch are often seen as one of the pioneers of the melodic metalcore movement, which, basically took what the 90s metalcore bands did, but added in a lot of influence from melodic death metal. And Killswitch Engage, as well as even other bands around the same time, like As They Lay Dying, Unearth, kind of pioneered that. Granted, I definitely think Unearth has evolved out of metalcore and into something completely different. But Killswitch, I will say, for the most part, they pretty much stay the course of something that they arguably created. Because this song, it definitely marks all the trappings of their sound, classic grooves, awesome riffs, some great clean vocals. Of course, Jesse, I think this is maybe the best Jesse has sounded on an album yet. And I think that's partially because he's found a way to sing but take care of his voice after he had some issues with it several years ago. But cool breakdowns. You even get, throughout the album, on a couple of songs, you do get some occasional atonal melodies to kind of add another color to their repertoire, to their palette, you can say. And also, some shredding solos and twin leads on this track, which, before anybody asks, because I kind of made the precedent with the Bleeding Through album, that if more than 60 or 65% of an album has guitar solos, you're not a metalcore band. So, yeah, I will say this doesn't have that many solos, so it is still metalcore, I will say that. But anyway, so moving on quickly to Discordant Nation, which was one of the shorter tracks of the album, under 3 minutes, maybe closer to 2.5. This is almost like a straight-up melodic death metal song, because you get thrashy, mellow death riffs, thrashy beats. It's one of the more aggressive songs, and already 2 tracks in, we're at one of the more aggressive songs. There's even an awesome chorus with tremolos and blast beats, and I will say, I don't think I've remembered hearing blast beats on a Killswitch album prior, or at least I don't remember, but this album, we get blast beats aplenty on here. And then the song Aftermath kind of shifts the mood a little bit with how it starts with these acoustic, clean melodies. And then I love how the song builds through these more soaring melodies, and then it gets back into more thrashy territory with the rhythms, and even some proper machine gun riffs, and even more tremolo melodies. Forever Aligned, which I think was one of the 2 big singles, This one, I don't know, this song's kind of an oddity to me. Like, there's some heavier riffs, like there's heavier chugs, riff work going on, mainly in the verses, but when the chorus comes in with the melodic chorus, it does kind of kill the momentum of the song just a little bit, because it started off as like a much more heavier song for them, but then it does get into like gallops, but the chorus itself just remains very melodic. It would have been interesting to hear them, I should say, do that chorus with that more heavier tone that they introduced on this track. But you do get some really cool harmonies that show up on here too. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I was just thinking they were probably going to go in back to the heavy on the chorus, but they kind of stick to their comfort zone a little bit. But then we get to the other single, which I actually liked a lot more, I Believe. This song, I feel, is almost like a classic metal song. Like, the harmonies, the melodies, the gallops, the riffs, kind of remind me of Judas Priest a little bit. Like, this is like a Massachusetts modern version of Judas Priest kind of vibe with the songwriting, and the vocals are mostly clean vocals on this song. Like, I don't remember hearing any growls or screams on this song, and I love how it grooves, and even the bridge was nice and pretty with the acoustic and clean guitars. However, the song does cut off when I feel like they could have done the chorus one more time and end off with that opening riff. I think it would have helped make the song even stronger than it already was. But that's the first half of the album, which is, for the most part, typical Killswitch Engage. But the second half, as it comes in, things change in a big way. Starting off with Where It Dies, this one kind of goes for more of like a thrash, like a melodic thrash metal vibe. Almost reminds me a lot of like modern Creator a little bit, like the riffs, the grooves, the energy. It feels a little bit more akin to like recent Creator albums like Phantom Antichrist, Gods of Violence, even Hate Uber Alice. And also, I really like the chorus where Jesse does a vocal flip. Like, one bar he's doing cleans, another bar he's doing his screams or growls, and the second shreddy solo section pops up on a song, and then you get these really cool like grooves with chugs on top. Collusion, we're getting even heavier now with the chugs and the groove, and it lumbers very well, but you do still get some like nasty machine gun riffs. The song itself's kind of like a more melodic Gojira song a little bit. I don't know. I still got Gojira on the mind after doing that ranking, so I don't know if that's just me or if you guys picked up on that or not. But the vocals do get really nasty, like Jesse showcasing some more growls, like death metal growls in his repertoire. But then we get to The Fall of Us, which is, I would argue, one of the heaviest songs Killswitch has ever written. You might make a case that it is the heaviest one they've written, because this song's kind of going back and forth between thrashy melodeath and old school death metal. Like, there's some death metal tremolos and blasts that kind of make me think of like the heavier sections of Black Dahlia Murder a little bit, but you still get like thrashy melodeath riffs and rhythms, but you do get really nice groove with like bordering on Morbid Angel tremolos on top of a groove. And even the chorus, you know, it's melodic, the tremolos are melodic, but again, the blast beats come in. There's even dissonance in the background, dark acoustics, clean guitars with like a tribal groove and bass going on. The breakdowns on this song are particularly nasty, and especially at the end where they slow them down to the conclusion. Broken Glass, which was the other short track on the album, 2.5 minutes, kind of like a doom groove, but with like atonal melodies, blasts, chugs, gallops, blasts on machine gun riffs. Like, it's kind of going for a lot of different ideas in a short amount of time. And then Requiem, awesome closer. It's got like death metal triplet chugs and blasts, tremolo melodies. It swings very well. And the third and final solo section, and it's awesome. Perfect closing song, I must admit. Production-wise, I haven't talked about the production, but Adam D, again, I can't complain about Adam D's production. It might be a bit clean, but it works, because he knows how to make everything sound audible and apparent and give everybody a chance to shine in the mix. Even the bass really shines in the mix. Now, as far as the only things I had to complain about, I would say were the little nitpicks. Like, I would say, I believe, honestly, after that bridge, there should have been a guitar solo show up on that song. And I think doing the chorus one more time after that solo would have been a great end to that awesome single. And then Forever Aligned, like, it kind of showcased something, like with the heavier riffs, the heavier chugs, but then you go back to the typical melodic chorus. I would have loved to have heard them do a heavy chorus on that song, and it would have, I think, made the song stand out more. And then probably the only other complaint that I could really muster would perhaps be that sometimes the choruses get a bit formulaic, but at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's like, you love to hear the clean choruses. Sometimes you wish they can throw some variation, like add more screams and growls or do a whole chorus of screams and growls. However, that's a very minor gripe. Like, I will say the choruses, they are done well when suited. I just do wish that, like, especially on Forever Aligned, that's really the big one. That should have been a heavy, growling, screaming chorus. But overall, this I thought was still a great album. I would argue this is probably the best album they've done since Disarm the Descent, I would argue. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5. I mean, is it just me, or is like the old 2000s metalcore scene making a comeback? Because we've already had Bleeding Through a couple weeks ago. Actually, last week I talked about Bleeding Through. This week, Killswitch Engage, Hell on Earth, a couple years ago released a killer album. Yeah, As They Lay Dying, no. But rumors of Shadows Fall doing a new album, even though I don't consider them metalcore. I mean, it's like the old guard of the melodic metalcore movement are making a comeback and showing to these new kids that kind of want to bastardize the genre, knocked loose, how it's really done. So, if you are a fan of Killswitch Engage, you're already going to buy this. I know I'm probably going to get it, because this is actually really fucking good. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.